Hey guys, what is up? Preseason is here. I hope you're ready because this is going to be almost like playing a new game this year. These are the biggest changes I think we've ever had. I'm going to catch you up to speed with what to keep your eye on for this preseason starting Wednesday, 8th of November if nothing else changes. Remember, nobody knows the best builds or what is OP or not right now, but we will be finding out pretty quick and I'll be making videos for the next few weeks tracking the new best setups. The new Rune system is the biggest thing coming in. The old masteries and runes are gone. We'll get into those in a second, but there are a few things you really need to know first that will get buried beneath the rune stuff. Experience is changing. Catch up for everybody. Being a lower level than the average doesn't give you bonus for kills. It's going to be harder to come back in a game. Also, the jungle catch up is really big. Now it's 50 experience per large and epic monster rather than 30 just per monster in the camp if you're down in levels. This means you can only get catch up once per camp. Taking gromp and chickens when behind is not as good now. This is going to change the game quite a lot actually. The games will be faster. We have a carry jungle meta, lots more ganks, lots more invades. Comebacks are harder, but ganking junglers can also get behind with no farm. Just keep in mind that this used to be why we had very fast games in Season 6, so we might be getting back kind of in the middle somewhere. Jungle experience as well. Wolf Camp gives a level now on first clear where it didn't before. Junglers have 4 different starting points now, so blue buff, red buff, chickens, and wolves. The big thing and the reason I'm mentioning this at the start of the video is ganks could be coming a lot more bot lane at 330 now if they start wolves. It's just a heads up, they won't always almost be top lane anymore. So now we've got the rune stuff. I'm going to group these into the 5 different trees. Precision, which is like frosty, AD type stuff. Domination, which is like burst and assassin. Sorcery, which is mages, more control mages. Resolve, which is tanky champions. And inspiration, which is more utility. Before that, we're going to look at the keystones. You have to know these. You can see them by pressing tab. These are much more powerful than last season, so you need to know what the enemy is using. Each of these trees has 3 options. For precision, we have press the attack first of all. Hitting the same champion 3 times with basic attacks deals damage and makes them take 12% more damage from all sources for 6 seconds. Lethal tempo is the next one. 1.5 seconds after damaging a champion, you gain a ton of attack speed for 3 seconds, which is up to 6 seconds if you hit a champion after that. Fleet footwork is the same as warlords. We have now energize, heals, and gives move speed. For resolve, we have grasp the undying, basically the same. Every 4 seconds in combat, next basic attack deals bonus damage and heals you, plus permanently grants you 5 health now. Aftershock is after immobilizing, so crowd control an enemy champion, you gain armor magic resist for 2.5 seconds, and at the end of that, you deal damage to nearby champions. The Guardian is more of a supporty one. You guard allies around you and those you target with spells for 2.5 seconds. So if you or they take damage while guarded, you both gain a shield and move speed. For domination, the burst type, we have Electrocute, Thunderlords, but now 3 separate attacks or abilities, no damage over time proxys. Predator, which enchants your boots. You can channel for 1.5 seconds, kind of like an Edge of Night, and gives you a ton of move speed for 15 seconds. When you attack something, the effect is going to end and deals a bunch of damage. That's got a 2 to 3 minute cooldown though. Dark Harvest is the broken one. Champions, large minions, and monsters drop essence when they die. You collect these souls and your next attack on a champion or structure deals bonus damage. The damage is based on how many souls you have at the time. For sorcery, we have Avery, I don't know how to say that. Attacks and abilities send her to your target, either damaging or shielding them depending on if it's an ally or enemy. Arcane Comet is damaging a champion with an ability, hurls a comet at them. If it's on cooldown, the spells are going to lower the cooldown instead. Phase Rush is like Storm Raiders, but just hitting an enemy champion with 3 separate attacks or abilities gives you some move speed. For inspiration, finally, we have Unsealed Spellbook. You gain a Summoner Shard at 2 minutes and every 6 minutes after that. Now with those shards, you can replace Summoner spells with others in the shop. It also gives you 25% Summoner cooldown. Glacial Argument is where your basic attacks slow champions for 2 seconds and also slowing them with an item active, so like a Gunblade or something, shoots an AoE slow on the ground. Kleptomancy, after using an ability, your next attack grants bonus gold and you may gain a random consumable item, kind of like a potion or a ward. Those are the keystones. You have to know these before you get into a game, otherwise you are going to get caught off guard. But now let's look at all the options for the pages. You'll be picking something like this. It's going to look like this anyway. A keystone, a greater rune, and then 2 others from your primary page. Then you have your secondary with 2 random runes that you can pick. Each tree grants bonus free stats as well. It's not as complicated as it looks at all. Okay, you pick a primary, you pick your 4 runes, you pick a secondary, you pick 2 more, and that's it. I'll put timestamps in the description if you want to skip to the tree you're most interested in, I guess. But precision firstly, you get a free 18% attack speed bonus when you pick this one. Press the attack, very strong for auto and ability based champions because you have 3 attacks and then you do some damage and your target takes 12% more damage. This is a tank shredder. Lethal tempo is very strong for on hit and attack speed builds, up to 6 seconds of a lot of attack speed, which can take you over the cap as well. Really good if you have like a Rage Raid, for example. Fleet Footwork is like Warlords, very good defensively, or if you already have enough damage and you just need to kind of survive and heal a bit. Now we have groups of other runes, so you choose one of these from each group. Overheal is excess healing, becomes a shield for up to 10% of your health. Triumph is the another option, kills and assists restore 15% of your missing health, so kind of like Dangerous Game but on steroids. Presence of Mind is the last one. For 5 seconds after gaining a level or a takedown, any mana you spend is fully restored. All three of these are pretty good, but Overheal is by far the best late game though. That 10% is going to add up to a lot. Next choice revolves around legend stacks. So you gain them on champion takedowns, epic large monster kills, and also minion kills. There are 3 different ones you can pick. Alacrity, which is gaining attack speed for each legend stack, maximum of 10 of these. Tenacity, where you gain tenacity, and Bloodline, where you gain lifesteal for each stack. Bloodline screams to me as an AD carry right now. If you build triple crit and get 8% free lifesteal, that is actually pretty nuts. Plus we have 18% attack speed like already from our free bonus, so we don't necessarily need it from this. The last choice is dealing 10% more damage to champions below 40%, and takedowns on champs grant AD or AP for 10 seconds, so it's kind of like a reset snowball mechanic. That is a precision tree. Pressy attack seems to be the most like standard keystone here. You cannot really go wrong with that much bonus damage. Next up, domination tree for all you horrible people that play assassins and burst mages. This features probably the most broken keystone we are going to have going into preseason. The bonus for this tree is 11 AD or 18 AP, depends which you're building, and the first keystone, electrocute, 3 separate attacks or abilities within 3 seconds deals bonus damage, and it has a really good AD and AP ratio though, which will seriously hurt late game. Predator is for roamers or junglers, I'd imagine. 45% move speed for 15 seconds to roam with, and then a bunch of damage when you attack. The issue though is it's a 2 to 3 minute cooldown, which is very long. Dark Harvest has been broken on the PB, so just a warning, with assassins coming into this patch, they're going to really hurt. When you kill champions, large minions, or large monsters, you get soul essence, and this essence lasts 20 seconds, but later into the game it can last 5 minutes once you have a total of 150 essence collected. That is kind of the problem part of this. The damage is a flat amount, but it's plus the essence you have at the time. When this lasts so long, you can store this up to one-shot people. If you are close to a one-shot champion anyway, Rengar, Shaco, Zed, Talon, you can get like an extra 250, 300 damage to make sure it is actually a one-shot. That's gonna hurt. The other choices in this tree, first one, Malice, which is kind of a combat thing. Cheap shot, damaging champions which are crowd controlled, deals bonus true damage. Taste of Blood means you heal when you damage an enemy champion, and Sudden Impact is after exiting stealth or a dash, leap, blink, basically a movement spell. Dealing damage after that grants you 10 lethality or 8 magic pen for 5 seconds. Tracking, which can kind of help you hunt your prey or keep you safe, I guess. Zombie Ward is pretty cool. After killing a ward, or if your ward expires, Zombie Ward appears for you and lasts 3 minutes. Ghost Porro means you can summon a Porro after entering a bush. This stays there giving you vision until an enemy champion enters the bush. Eyeball collection is pretty gross, but you can collect eyeballs for champion and ward takedowns. You gain a small amount of AD and AP when you do. Domination also has a stacking mechanic one with Hunter, so you gain a stack for unique champion kills, which obviously maximum is 5 per game. Ravenous means you heal for damage dealt by your abilities. Ingenious means you gain active item cooldown reduction, and Relentless gives you out of combat move speed. Moving on to the sorcery tree. Mages more control than burst, Orianna and stuff like that. The bonus is 15 AD or 25 AP. I don't know how to say this one, Aerie whatever. Support mages, empowers your shields and damage depending on which you use. Arcane Comet is really good for poke champions. Also spells reduce the cooldowns, keep that in mind. And Phase Rush is the Storm Raiders, except based on 3 separate attacks, not damage done to proc it. First choices are Nullifying Orb, which means taking damage that would reduce your health to below 30%. You gain a magic damage shield, like a Hexdrinker basically. Mana Flow Ban is every 60 seconds. Your next ability refunds its mana cost and gives 8% missing mana. Or you have the Ultimate Hat, which is ultimate cooldown reduction by 5%, reduced by 2% more each time you cast it up to 10%. The Orb is actually really good versus Burst, but otherwise I think you'll be taking Mana Flow here. It seems to be really good for the mana regen actually. Next up, Transcendence. You gain 10% cooldown reduction when you hit level 10, going over 40%, so the cap of it actually changes cooldown reduction any extra you have into AD or AP. Celerity gives move speed and adds 8% of your bonus move speed to your AP or AD. This could be really fun to run like some move speed builds. Absolute Focus, while above 70% health, you gain up to 24 AD or 40 AP. Next, Power. This is really a strong line, and why a lot of damage champions will go sorcery as their secondary. Scorch means your next ability sets a champion on fire, dealing a bunch of damage afterwards, and Water Walking gains move speed and AD and AP when in the river. Gathering Storm is the big one. This is awesome late game. Gain AP or AD every 10 minutes into the game. At 30 minutes, that will look like 48 AP or 29 AD, but at 50 minutes, you would gain 120 AP or 72 AD. Gathering Storm is legit the most insane late game rune in the game. If you can last that long in a game, you're pretty much going to win if you have it and the enemy doesn't. Now, Resolve is your tanky tree. The bonus is 130 health. And for the keystones, Grasp Beyond Dying is basically the same as it is now. You deal damage, you heal, but you also get permanent health now. Aftershock is for crowd control tanks. It's really good. You gain a flat magic resist and armor amount plus 30% of your current as bonus. You're then going to deal damage around you based on your maximum health. Guardian is for support tanks. You guard allies around you, or if you shield or use an ability on them, and if they or you take damage, you get a shield and move speed. Basically, Grasp is like Bruiser, Aftershock is tank, and Guardian is a support tank. Then you can choose between unflinching when you use a summoner spell, you gain tenacity and slow resist, and you also gain those if they are on cooldown as well. Demolish is really good. You charge up a power attack on a tower for 4 seconds, and you have to be near the tower for the whole 4-second duration. It deals 125 plus 30% of your maximum health and has a 45-second cooldown. This is insane, by the way, for a tank or like a split pusher like Shen. Font of Life is very similar to Bond of Stone or Stoneborn Pact, whatever it is. Crowd control marks an enemy champion for 4 seconds, and the allies who attack them heal. Next up, we have 3 more choices. Iron Skin and Mirror Shell, very similar, just one for armor and one for magic resist. You're going to gain a bit of armor or magic resist. Potions heal you for more health, and shields increase your armor or magic resist by 5% for 3 seconds, depending on which one you take. Conditioning, though, is the other one in this tree. After 10 minutes, you gain 8 armor and magic resist and increase both of those by 5%. Conditioning seems really overtuned in this one. 5% free permanently is crazy for a late game tank, like a full tank. Lastly, then we have some really cool ones actually. Overgrowth permanently grants you 0.2% maximum health for every 8 monsters or minions that die near you. Revitalize, heals and shields are stronger, more if a target is below 40% health. And Second Wind, after taking damage, you heal for 4% of your missing health over 10 seconds. The last tree is Inspiration, and this is kind of the wacky support tree, I guess. The bonus is 20% potion and elixir duration, and then it kind of depends. Domination and Sorcery is secondary, gives you 80 or AP. Resolve gives you health, and Precision gives you attack speed. The Keystone's Unsealed Spellbook will let you swap your summoner spells and have a 25% shorter cooldown. Glacial Argument slows on auto, and Active gives an AoE slow way, and then Kleptomancy, probably the best support one, really. It's really strong. Gain bonus gold and items when you hit an enemy champion after using an ability. You can then choose between Hextech Flash, which is if your flash is on cooldown, you can channel for 2 seconds and then blink instead. It has a 20-second cooldown. Biscuit Delivery is where you gain a biscuit every 3 minutes. It restores 15% missing health and mana. And then Perfect Timing. You start the game with a stopwatch. After 6 minutes, that stopwatch can be used for a one-time Zhonya's, and that also reduces the cooldown of Guardian Angel, Zhonya's, and Stoneplate. Next up, we have Magical Footwear, where you can get free boots at 10 minutes, but you cannot buy them before. They're also 50 gold cheaper to upgrade into the next tier, and they're faster. Futures Market, which is where you can be in debt to buy items. It costs 50 gold, but the debt limit is 150 plus 5 per minute. Minion Dematerializer is where you start the game with 6 of these. You kill and absorb a minion instantly when you use it, and it increases damage by 4% against that type of minion permanently. Lastly, we have Cosmic Insight, 5% cooldown reduction plus 5% max cooldown reduction, summoner spell cooldown reduction, and item cooldown reduction. Approach Velocity is gaining 10% move speed towards ally crowd control champions or enemies that you crowd control. And Celestial Body is the last one, 100 permanent health, but you deal 10% less damage to champions and monsters until 10 minutes. Now remember, if you have Domination as your main thing, for example, you can pick one from each of the 4 sections. Then you're going to select a secondary tree and pick 2 runes from 3 different sections in that tree. That should give you a rundown of what you really need to know for the preseason. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry this was a bit long, but there's so much to cover. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.